This is my MYP design cycle project. It's by Aaron, so me. Um, my topic is the Cambodian Genocide, and I'm gonna try and give you the background info as cleanly as possible because this is a really tricky subject. I'll try and go through it fast because it's a little bit long too. Okay, well, it's important to note that communism was looked at. It was really bad in Cambodia, and this man, his name was Sihanouk. He was the king of Cambodia. He was a crazy man, so he thought that communism was good, and that was his view. He was very pro communist. This man, his name is Lon Nol. Now he was a good man. He did not want communism. He went and did a coup of the government and took away its power. The king was then sent in exile to China. It's important to note that this was communist China, and so they promised to give back the power to the king. Now, it's important to note that 70 to 80% of the population loved the king. They adored him because they were uneducated, and so this is what they thought. Fortunately, people did not like Lon Nol very much. So, with the people behind him and communism behind him, the king easily took back the power from Lon Nol. And so, then at the end of it, communist China simply said, "No, no, no! This is communist country now." This is the birth of the Khmer Rouge. The Khmer Rouge are basically the Nazis of Cambodia. Their goal was to eliminate all educated, smart individuals. They wanted to brainwash them so that they could implant ideas saying that communism was good, America was bad. This was called Year Zero. Now let me talk about what the UN could have done. Now all my solutions were really tricky to come up with simply because U.S. was at war with Vietnam, and the U.S. was a really big part of really big power of the UN, big influence on them. So basically, I came up with that the UN could have threatened war. They could have invaded, stopped, and restored power. Just threatened it to get the Khmer Rouge to back down a little bit. But of course, we're at war with Vietnam, so they couldn't have done that. This was happening at the same time as the war in Vietnam. My second solution was really not very good. It was only to provide food and water and medical aid for them. Fortunately, this would not have stopped it. They would have just kept going. The communist regime would have just taken the supplies for themselves. So that clearly would have not worked. My third solution was to negotiate. Simply negotiate with the terrorists there. A few weeks ago, I even saw in a news report that the UN negotiated an arms agreement with a Middle Eastern country, and it went really smoothly. They could have done something similar to that, but of course, communists don't like to negotiate, and that wouldn't have really worked out for either of them. I don't think, or at least I don't think it would have been the best solution. And of all my bad solutions, probably the best of my bad solutions would have been to put pressure on communist China, hitting the Khmer Rouge at its source of power. This is where the power came from. Now, communist China liked to help out fellow comrades, fellow communists. The Khmer Rouge were also communist, and China helped to sprout them, to help them grow. It was the catalyst for allowing them to come up from the ground. So North Vietnam was also communist, and they were also a main supporter. Now we couldn't have put any political pressure on North Vietnam simply because we were at war with them. And the only solution that I could have came up with that was probably my best one was to put political pressure on China. China was giving food and ammunition, power to the the Cambodian communists, sorry. And if we put political pressure on them, we cut their supplies and they won't have any more power. Then Cambodia's government, their people can take over and do what they want. We don't want to get too involved in people's lives. Simply, we want to free them from oppression. And that's what pretty much the Cambodian genocide was. That's really all I could come up with. Thanks for watching, I guess.